Hello everyone, welcome back to Monroeville here on Chaosville with Bedmon Incorporated. This is episode 18. I'm still working on recovering something for episode 16. But busy right now, so sorry about that. Today we are, as promised in the previous episode, laying the groundwork for the Monroeville Mall. I am quite a bit closer to the entry point of Monroeville right now than I previously was, because I realized 2,000 blocks is way beyond the level of credence. So we're actually at about 450 right now, which is a hell of a lot closer. Still far enough for us to insert things on different islands that we want to mess with and all sorts. And the map shows a fairly densely crowded section of islands, so we shouldn't have too much issue putting those all together. So, we've had a few changes to the server. We've had a few more mods installed. Let's see, Atmos mobs, as you can probably tell from this annoying little butterfly moth thing that keeps flying around. The hats, people are enjoying the hats. I haven't tried them, I think. We've also gotten Greg Tech pack, but we've disabled all of its annoying recipes, which is good, for me especially. And we've also gotten Mind Factory reloaded, and there is one more. More pistons, that was it, which was a pain to install. But our main thing today is that we are setting down the outline of the Monroeville Mall, which is a bit of an endeavour, as you can imagine, for a building this size. So I've got Ken over here giving me a hand, and he's just going to be wandering along placing blocks, probably in midair. So hop over to my view and we shall take a look at the programming and stuff that I've given him. So this front section, which we're having a line with the bridge, which goes quite a ways, but it's not completed as yet because it is a hell of a lot of sandy brick to make, is 105 blocks wide. And I went through, I'll probably put up a visual here to show it, of, I went through the map of the floor plan for the ground floor of Monroeville Mall, and I used the known measurements that we acquired from working out the square footage to create a ratio which allowed me to then work out how many blocks each section would be. Each block is 1 meter. So this part is 105, and then there's 11, and then so on and so forth, and we just keep doing that until we eventually get around the back. So, what Ken is doing for us is he has a program called Foundations. So let's take a look at that. So he's first got a function called getStock, which loops through all of the blocks, all of the sections in his inventory where he can store items, and sees if there is something there. Not the most complex, not the best function I could use, but it works. And then, down here we have his main piece, which is going to be doing one side of this 105 block front piece, which is for between 1 and 105 minus 1 over 2, which is 52, if memory serves. He's going to move forward, and he's going to place a block down. If he can't move forward, then he does nothing. I probably should have done something there, so let's put an else. Else sleep, I think it is. Sleep for a second. If he can't go forward, then he waits for a second. Which means he'll save some fuel, and I can catch up to him before he causes any problems. And then he checks his stock to make sure he's got something more placed down. So we save that to Foundations, and then we'll start running it. Line 6 equals expected. Oh boy, there's always something. There's always something. Ah, I see. Yeah, I'm getting mixed up with my declarations. I equals I plus 1. There we go. That should work fine. Okay, and off he goes. So he's going to do 52 blocks in that direction, and then we can have him turn and do 11 blocks in the next direction, and so on and so forth. And if he gets stuck anywhere, he will just stop in place. Whoop, and I'm off the side here. My internet connection for the past few days has been very abominable. It pretty much cut out entirely yesterday, which was a real pain. Which is why this episode is late, and is also why my frames are even worse than they usually are today. So apologies for that. But in the news, well, there's Margaret Thatcher. I've been getting flack for asking questions about Margaret Thatcher. And what are you saying? You are saying that you have completed it. Hooray. So, let's then get 11 blocks. No, 9 blocks. 83, then 11 blocks is the thing. And 9 blocks will include this, so let's see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this next section is a full 83, so joy to that. So let's go pick up Ken. Do I have room in my inventory for everything he's holding? 7 stacks of items plus Ken himself. Yes, I do. Ken. Okay, and so he is doing. Yep. Let's fill him up again. Edit foundations. And we just need to change this one number down at the bottom here, which is the number that he's doing. He's moving forward and putting a block down, so we'll set this to 82 because we already have one that he's standing on. And then we'll not be standing on him when he when he goes off, because that is going to cause him some trouble. Foundations. And off he goes. So we'll just keep doing this until we've got the full outline sorted. You can already see it showing up on the minimap, although for some reason the actual bridge has issues turning up on the minimap. I'm not entirely sure why it is, but yeah. Oh, that was something else. When we were figuring out how to get all the new mobs in, we managed to sort out our brainy zombie issue. Which I don't have any brains on me at the moment to demonstrate that. But, whoop, get out of the way, pig. Grr. Arg. Well, actually the arg is more yours, but oh well. Hey, I got some cooked pork. Yeah, that's the one upside of the mob changes to the server, is that we now have plenty of mobs around here in Monroeville. Downside is we have plenty of hostile mobs as well. So as you may have noticed in the intro, there's a lot more lights around here, because being a Skylands means that the mobs are going to spawn anywhere they can, and anywhere they can is usually where I'm standing. So, not the most pleasant of scenarios. Is that accurate, or is that you? That is accurate. Good, good, good. And let's see, that would be plus 16, 64 plus 16... Let's head back and develop something that I have been meaning to put together for a while, because I should explain. I have a bit of a headache today, so my brain isn't doing mathematics quite as clearly as it should. But let's take a hop through the hub station, because this is still a significant distance. Bear in mind, along the main axis of the highway. The entry point that we've been working with for a while with near Recenter Supply Depot is in the negative 200s. That's the positive 400s, so it's a bit of a jaunt. And here we are. Okay, who else is around? Just Nifty. So let's see, we hop through the main Monroeville. I have another one to the mall behind it, but we really need to expand this area. Very crowded though. Okay, so what we need is a measuring tape. That requires this, which is string and some dandelion yellow, which we can readily create. And I just want to make this to make sure that he's getting the right numbers, because if I don't, that will bite me in the hindquarters later. Fortunately, we have an abundance of yellow flowers thanks to our bees. And we have an abundance of string due to the recent onset of spiders, who are showing up everywhere that I could possibly imagine. Oop. What was that? Was that a fuse? Doop-a-doop-a-doop. System lag, thank you. Oh, there we go. So, dandelion yellow in the middle. Doop-a-doop-doop-doop-doop-doop. That gets us our tape measure reel. And our tape measure is just one of those surrounded in iron. This comes from, perhaps rather strangely, it comes from Bibliocraft. Oh, just an FYI on hand. Which is the mod that adds all the bookcases and whatnot, and the armor stands. I'm not quite sure why they decided to fit this in as well, but it is actually quite handy to have, so not complaining. And I should be linked to... Yes. That's why I've got the Wraith node. Makes travel very easy. So, if I do the start here to the end, that should be 53. Good. And over here to here. Oh, I need to double clicked accidentally. 9. Good. And from here over to where Ken is should be 83. But he actually occupies a full block, so it's going to be a little bit tricky to do. So I'll just do one before him and add one. It is 83. Good, good, good. Oh god, I've become a contractor now. I'm actually trying to make sure everything's precise and neat. Okay, so the next measurement is 11 and then 113. Sorry if I keep doing that, because I have to... These aren't numbers that are like things you'll remember off the top of your head, so I'm trying to make sure I remember them. So let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And how's that showing up on the minimap? Yep, we are already off the screen. Not a huge issue. Yeah, Margaret, there's a big hullabaloo in the UK right now over Margaret Thatcher. Well, there's always been a bit of a big hullabaloo over Margaret Thatcher, but specifically, recently, there's the big hullabaloo over whether or not she should get a state funeral. I was not around when she was in power. I am not even tangentially related to any of the things that she was involved with. So I don't quite understand where all this this anger and hate comes from. So I asked people on Twitter not too long ago to present me with a reasonable argument that she shouldn't get a state funeral that didn't amount in I didn't like her, which is what I've been seeing for the majority of the past week or so. And again, we just changed the value here. I should just have like a variable, but this is just something I quickly drummed up onto Ken to throw this together. 112, because again we have to -1 because he's standing on the first block. And save. Exit. Step off. Turtles behave weirdly if you don't do that. Foundations. Now, if we gave him a solar power module and a chunk loader module, then he would be able to do this completely unobserved. He would just go along his business and such. Unfortunately, he's a mining turtle already, which means I can't give him the 2 modules that he'd need for that, and moreover, you can't dismantle turtles. You can't take the modules off of them, and that's unfortunately something I had to consider when I was toying with the idea of making a von Neumann mining turtle idea of just turtles making turtles making turtles making turtles making turtles. But oh well. But one, just to close the line on Margaret Thatcher before I get distracted again, the argument I was presented with eventually was that she'd said in like her own documents and such that she didn't want a state funeral, which seems reasonable enough to me. If you're going to make a big hullabaloo out of respecting someone, respect their last wishes seems like the smartest first move. It's also Autism Awareness Month, I believe. Might still be. I don't know if that's specific to the UK or anywhere else. It might actually be an American thing, because I think it's Autism National or something for the US that set it up. It's getting dark, which means there can be mobs everywhere. But once this one's done, we can turn left and start running. Oh, and yep, there are some wild brainy zombies. I'm mostly just following Ken so he doesn't oh, thanks Meg, he decided to park in the middle of mid-air. That's actually kind of relieving. Yay! Thank you, Ken. You know best. It's also really, really hot right now. Just in like Middlesbrough, Darlington, whatever. I don't want to be the person that says it's the start of spring, because there is always someone that says that, and they are usually wrong. This is 127, which is just over, well, it's just under 2 stacks. So let's enter Lua and have him turn left. Let's see, that should be turtle.turn left. Yep. There we go. Okay, and now we need to exit that and edit foundations. Sorry if this is a fairly boring episode, because it mostly involved me changing code. But it's a lot. I can do a lot more stuff with you guys, with Ken doing all of this, than me counting out 112 blocks and whatnot. So let's see, it was 127. Again, we're standing on the block, so 126. And he will pause if he runs out of fuel rather than doing anything else, so that's good. So foundations. Off we go. And let's put a torch down here, because yeah, as you can see, we're getting all the mobs under the sun. We're actually not getting all that many like Mo creatures mobs around here at the moment. That may be because they're saturated on the overworld. Although I did hit an island where that has a zebra while I was looking around the islands near the build site. So that's not too bad. Might have something to do. Might be able to do something with those, because I believe those are like rare breeding kind of things. You can do a fair bit with them as long as you know what to do. But I'm not particularly interested in the breeding forces, especially here in Monroeville, where we have Stampede. Because you know, who doesn't want to ride a like 12-ton pachyderm around an area where you can take one wrong step and fall to your doom? Because that seems totally perfect. But yes, it's Autism Awareness Month, apparently. For those of you who don't know this yet, I have Asperger's syndrome, which is a form of high-functioning autism, although I believe the definitions are getting messed about with soon. And that basically means that I have trouble with social interaction and understanding of subtext in statements and such. Oh, I better load this gun. Off the edge, Mr. Spider, off the edge. Thank you. The creeper will not be so helpful. Okay. Oop, nor would the angry zombie, actually. Whoop. And my keys are getting stuck here. Come on. Whoop, sorry Ken. Thank you. Yeah, as I say, sorry about the frames and such. Okay, so we've apparently hit our next marker. We can check that with our measuring. But yeah, it means that I'm not good with, like, reading between the lines, and I'm not good with body language, and all manner of other things. I like to have a very rigid, established schedule, which hasn't been available for the past while, so I'm a little hectically messed up by that. But by and large, this is where the high-functioning part comes in. Oh, that is 127 exactly, it seems. Let's head back, take another measurement. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo-boop-a-doo. Oh, and that's a spider jockey. Right next to Ken. Joy. Oh, actually, that's helpful, because he's going to ride all the way off. Come on, get me. Thank you. Ah, it's fun when the enemies kill themselves. Okay, so there. 127. Huh. Oh wait, it was that... Yes, that was the actual measurement. The one on the other side is actually 130. It's not actually, like, identical for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but it is, and I'm glad I have a jetpack. Come on, up you go. I kind of want to sleep and get rid of some of these mobs, because as you can see, they're spawning like mad out there. Just over there, how many is there? Jeez. Also, this episode was starting to run a bit long, so, next time, we're probably going to go back to... Well, actually, I'll leave this up to you guys. Here are the options. I can stay here and continue working on the mall, or I can go back to the Night of the Living Dead build and do some more work, like with the carpet and such. If episode 16 comes out before then, it is going to mostly involve me gushing about legendary makeup and effects guy, guru, Tom Savini. So that one I may start talking about some other people who've been involved with Romero's zombie moves and such. Who knows? I have quite a few. I've been watching a couple of them recently just while I get some university work done. But on that note, from here with Ken, where the hat mod messes with our ability to see items in our hands, I shall catch you all later.